Hello and welcome to another episode of Season 8 of the Lawyers Learning Center with DHIA podcast. This season, we will be talking all about today's cyber exposures, cyber liability, and protecting your law firm against cyber threats. Tune in every Thursday and check out the description for more related resources. Today, we're talking about managing security for a remote law office. Let's dive in. With a remote workforce comes great security challenges. Zach Wilcoxen is a managed IT expert. He sat down for an interview to discuss some steps that law firms can take to overcome the security challenges and manage risk that come with being a remote or hybrid style office. The first thing is connecting a VPN to the work domain. Set up a VPN, then use the VPN, and remind the team to use the VPN. Follow up to make sure they're using it again and again. It sounds redundant, but there is a reason. Zach explained that a VPN or virtual private network is one of your most essential tools for maintaining security. It keeps your private data private. If you connect to a public network like a coffee shop, then you need to use a VPN. Without it, you are visible to others connected to that network. A VPN creates a private tunnel that keeps prying eyes away from your data. Once you're connected to a VPN, all your web traffic starts to filter through that tunnel. It's encrypted and remains private. The VPN can also connect to your business infrastructure, protecting your connection and making those resources available remotely. The bottom line is you shouldn't use an open network without a VPN in today's world filled with malicious actors. Beyond these benefits, a VPN connected to an office network containing an active directory allows use of group policy objects, or GPOs. With GPOs, you can fine-tune user level of access and security. One example is websites that employees may visit. It's more likely that remote users will visit sites they usually wouldn't visit at work because they don't have somebody over their shoulder. This, unfortunately, increases risk. GPO settings enforce access rules to different types of websites through DNS filtering. The GPO setting also allow you to revoke or remove admin privileges. So not only you can block malicious websites, but the admin settings make it difficult for employees to download and install malicious programs. You may think your antivirus software gives protection, but Zach warns that there are zero-day attacks that aren't covered. A zero-day attack is a virus that isn't known to the antivirus world yet. So there's no definition and there's nothing to block it because it's a brand new virus. DNS filters that are enabled by the group policy objects help prevent this and mitigate zero-day attacks by blocking IP addresses that are known bad actors. So, enforcing VPN use so that you can also set up security-focused group policy objects is one of the most important precautions Zach recommends. Then you have patch management through a managed update policy. Patch management makes sure that all your applications, including your operating system, are fully up to date at all times. Some people think they don't need to update because they don't care about the new features. But it's not about the new features. It's about security. 99% of patches are focused on security vulnerabilities. For example, Microsoft Windows is full of vulnerabilities. Every single week, Microsoft drops new patches to address different vulnerabilities. Every week, new vulnerabilities are discovered. So it's imperative that you make sure all devices stay up to date. But don't rely on employees to take care of it on their own. You need an IT team doing remote patch management. It can be your internal IT team, or it can be a managed IT provider like Protect. Without these updates, the likelihood of security vulnerabilities is much greater than it would be otherwise. Another thing Zach warns about is how family members can compromise work security. The biggest tip of advice here is to lock your computer, even when you are at home. In fact, build it into your group policy objects so employees don't have a choice. You need to protect your organization from non-malicious threats, meaning an individual or employee who goes against company policy but doesn't do it with the intent to cause harm, such as visiting non-work-related websites, game downloads, things like that. And kids have a nasty habit of using open computers. They visit sites they shouldn't and accidentally invite viruses that can result in a cyber attack. People think they're safer in their own home, but then Billy comes along and goes to download what he thinks is Minecraft. Instead, he downloads something malicious. Now your entire organization is dealing with this problem. Plan for success. Have your GPOs and company policies in place to prevent this before it happens. The remote work environment was thrust upon us without warning years ago. Today, it is very common for employees to work remotely in full remote or a hybrid capacity. Quit worrying about the past and look into the future. The remote work environment is more complicated and needs thoughtful security measures. If you're a small law firm, you're probably not hiring an in-house IT person because that doesn't really make sense. There isn't enough job there to justify paying a system administrator who is going to cost about $60,000 a year. That's where managed IT providers like Protect come in. Managed IT providers can do it so much more reasonably as a third party. Typically, fees range from $75 to $125 per user per month, which includes patch management, help desk support, endpoint security, and proactive asset monitoring. Whatever you do, please don't do nothing. Plan for success. An ounce of prevention goes a long way against cyber threats. We'd like to give a big shout out to Zachary Wilcoxen for today's episode. With a lifetime spent in IT, he has seen it all. He started young as an agent doing on-site service calls for computer nerds before taking a position at a data center in the Network Operations Center. There, he maintained infrastructure most people refer to as the cloud. Honing his craft and studying computer science, he eventually took a software engineering position working on a popular cloud storage platform. After a number of years in the workforce, building a skill set, Zach set off to start his own business, which today is known as Protect Managed IT Services, where they offer 24/7 help desk support, proactive asset monitoring, cybersecurity, and automation services. If you are curious about Protect, we encourage you to check out the link in the description. Thank you for tuning in to the Lawyers Learning Center with DHIA podcast. We are so glad you're here with us and hope that you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, we invite you to subscribe to the podcast and share the episode with someone you think could benefit from it. Please leave your thoughts or questions in the comments. Help us improve and better serve you. Subscribe to the podcast or sign up for email reminders to make sure you catch every episode.